Man, we're live. The first show of 2024 is coming live. Bro, how you doing?
I am good.
You are good. What game were you playing before we started?
I was playing Power Wash Simulator.
Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. You walk around with a power washer cleaning everything.
Oh, sweet. I've been playing my Polymega quite a bit. Just because I've got my Ultra 64 module in.
Okay.
So I've
been
loading games into it. So the N64 game, so I've been loading that into
And how do those play?
Oh, pretty good. You got to update the... it's a game. As soon as you go in, you have to do... like an update to the software to get the latest drivers for it, and I guess the version of the emulator. And then I went into the settings and had to enable Rumble, the Rumble pack and the expansion pack by default. And then I was just messing around for settings and stuff like that. But it's been pretty cool. It's been pretty fun to mess around with.
I guess, yeah. So the bundle, the pack, the attachment that you get, what was it called? It's not called Nintendo 64. Was it called Ultra 64?
It's called the Ultra 64. Yeah.
Okay. Does it come with a controller too?
Yeah, it comes with the controller, an actual controller, and it's like kind of like the Brawler.
Okay, so it's like the Brawler. I was going to ask if it was like the Nintendo 64 controller or like a more modern controller.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me right now. It's still in the box. So I just use the default controller that comes with it, the textured one.
Does it have analog sticks?
The default controller that comes with it, with the base units, dual sticks, stuff like that.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
It looks like a PlayStation 4 controller, pretty much.
I see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, I've been just messing around with that, stuff like that. So, Car Wash Simulator. Are you a big fan of
Power Wash.
Power Wash. Well, you're power washing your car, right?
Well, the first thing you have to wash is your car.
Okay, and then it's probably your deck and something like that, right?
Well, no, you go out on jobs and you earn money for the things that you power wash, and then you could use that to buy better equipment and stuff.
That's such a game that would appeal to white collar workers. Like
it's a game that appeals to somebody who wants to do something while watching a movie or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. Oh, welcome, Herb channel members. Ian, welcome to the channel. How are you guys doing? Welcome. The first Games and Stuff podcast in 2024. Crow, I named the podcast today the title Hello 2024 in tribute to your 3D printing or whatever you're doing with Hello.
Oh, because I showed here. Let's man, now it's getting stuck where I put it. Because I printed out this thing.
Yeah, hello. That's awesome.
That was the 3D pen that I had over there. You know, basically the 3D.
Yeah, my kids have one of those.
Yeah, I saw there was a kid's version of it. My wife bought that off of, I can't remember where she bought it now.
Off Etsy,
she either got it off of Temu. She probably got it off of Temu.
Temu, like the first time I ever heard of Temu was when you said that. Ian, how you doing, buddy? And just stay tuned too, because I'll be giving away. Hopefully, I'll be able to give away my January memberships tonight, at least. So that'll be cool. People might get in there.
We get at least we get at least one Temu package a day. I swear, it's not. Like, we got two today.
Is Temu just? Is it Alibaba? Is it Chinese like Alibaba?
Oh yeah, it's definitely Chinese. It's kind of like Alibaba, except it's less electronics. There's like not very many electronic things on there.
Oh, okay.
But there's lots of weird things on there. I bought clips, maybe some tools, some like cheap tools and stuff. There's not something. They don't really have things like monitors or. I think they might, but there's not a huge selection of that stuff. It's what they're addicted to, like, is clothes. There's a lot of clothes on there. that's what she's mainly buying is clothes. I've gotten some printing filament off of there. However, based on the how much you get for, it seems like it's really cheap. And then when you get it, you're like, oh, this isn't very much of it. You're better off buying full rolls of it,
Mhm.
like off Amazon and stuff. But yeah, it's funny. It's like, and then they like email you every day. You're like, oh, look at this deal. Look at and the subject lines of their emails are like, they're trying to get you like, oh, you're going to miss out on this deal. Or look what you've got. Look what we've saved for you and that kind of stuff,
Yeah, it's always like a getcha, right? So like I'm so far behind in online shopping, like what the big new stores are, stuff like that. I kind of just order from like the same stores, GameStop, Amazon, Walmart. Like I'm so boring when it comes to that. Like I
But
don't think I've ever
they'll give you
ordered anything
coupons.
from Alibaba.
But they'll give you coupons, and the coupons like expire super quick. They're like, oh, here's like a 70% off coupon, but it expires in like 10 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just that's not me. That's not for me. So chat,
Yeah.
I've got a question up for chat. Just you can leave it up there as you come in. It's basically, what is your gaming resolution for 2024? So just leave that up there and you guys can drop them in as you come in. But yeah, so Temu, yeah, I might have to check them out. What's the, like, does it take very much time to get stuff from there?
No, actually, it's very quick considering it's coming. I don't know where it's coming from, because it almost seems like it's coming too quick to come from China. But then again, it's not quick enough. Like, it's not like Amazon, like it's coming like in a day or two. It sometimes takes between 5 and 7 days.
Yeah, because like Alibaba, like,
Yeah, that'll take a month.
yeah, like I heard people say that, like Alibaba. There's a channel out there that orders stuff from Alibaba and then opens it up. I forget what it's called, but he's
Oh,
kind
I'm
of
sure
funny.
there's plenty of channels to do that.
Yeah, it's like a skinny dude anyway. But yeah, it's like he said, I ordered this 3 months ago and I don't remember what I ordered. And I'm like, well, it must be nice. You got all kinds of money. You don't remember
Well,
what you ordered.
I literally only ordered one thing from Alibaba, and that was that monitor for that cocktail cabinet, because it was the only place I could find a screen that fit like a 4:3 IPS LCD display that is specifically 19 inches. That was the only place I could find one. And it came in about a month, and it worked perfectly, so can't complain.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, it's funny though, people forgetting what they ordered.
Oh, I do that all the time too.
I did too. I just remembered. I forgot what I ordered. Sometimes limited run. Like, I'll order.
Oh yeah, that's yeah, because you get that what you ordered like a year later. So of course you're like, what the hell is this?
A year if you're lucky. Like, I'm still waiting for stuff from 2021.
Oh yeah, right. I am too. I ordered something from last year. It was April. I thought it was an April Fool's joke, and it turns out to be real.
Herb says he's resolution to beat more games in his backlog. You know what, dude? I am right there with you. I finished my first game so far in 2024 was Mortal Kombat 1. I'm going for short games, under 10 hours with a sim. So that's my first one. And then Street Fighter 6 is what I'm working on right now. So I appreciate it. So, Herbs, I asked you back, what game in your backlog do you want to finish first?
My resolution is to get caught up on Evercade. I think I could do it. Actually,
well, you've been trying that resolution for a year.
Well, I've changed the way I do things. So, rather than spend a week on every game, I've cut down that time. Even if like the game was really really short, like I was still spending like like almost a week, getting the footage, editing that footage, writing a script, and putting that in the video. Doing that portion of the video before moving on to the next game. I've already played 2 more games today, and I've got the footage to work down. Now, like Legend of Wukong took me a lot longer because I had 2 hours of footage of me playing it, plus an additional 18 hours of just captured footage. And I had to edit all that down. So on my captured channel, I have an almost 10-hour video of Legend of Wukong. And I just put out the Legend of Wukong video like yesterday, actually, now that I think about it, for on my other, my original channel, just like my playthrough video, and that just wound up me playing like the first part of it and then stopping at about 30 minutes, and then it cuts forward to about 10 days later where I was literally finishing the game. So I recorded myself finishing the game. So that's what that video turned out to be.
Do you
And
regret
today,
that?
do I regret what?
Legend of Wukong, that much time into that game. Like, think
No.
about it, though. Like, limited time on this planet. You're a huge
Yeah.
gamer. Do you regret spending, like sometimes I regret sometimes playing a big game for 2 hours sometimes just to find the fun. And I'm like, like I could have been doing something else.
Well, there's a thing to be said about if a game is fun, I'll go back and play
no, that's
it again.
what I mean. Wukong is not fun.
It's not a fun game, but I was playing it out of curiosity, really. Like, is this just going to be the same thing over and over again? Now, take, for example, a game I played today, 40 Wings. I was not curious enough about that game to even make it to the first boss.
Well, it's a kind of a clumsy game anyway. Like it was too clumsy of a game. Yeah. I spent probably more time messing around with the codes for that game, seeing what they would do than actually playing the game. Yeah, I know. Ian, I'm going to ask Ian, more time for games. I'm putting you on the spot, Ian. What games? Herbs is currently on Final Fantasy 16, trying to beat it before Part 7. So I love Final Fantasy 16, but it's one of those games, like, I don't know, Herbs and anybody else in the chat, or Crow. You start a game, you're having so much fun, but something distracts you, and months go by before you even get back to it. That's where I'm at with Final Fantasy 16.
Well, yeah, that happens to me with a lot of games. Like, even it's happening to me with like Street Fighter 6 even.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Like, it'll be like a month or two before I get back to it, That's why I'm not done with it.
You know why I got back to it? You and I were talking before Christmas and on the show, and you had mentioned it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play it over the break. But then I got Mortal Kombat 1 for Dirt Cheat, and I'm like, this is what happened. I was going to play Street Fighter 6. I had it on my Steam Deck. It runs beautifully on the Steam Deck, 60 frames per second.
Yeah, actually, It doesn't take much to run that game, surprisingly.
Yeah, and so I'm about to boot it up, and I got Mortal Kombat 1 for Dirt Cheap, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to play that. And that first cutscene, Crow, got me. And 3 hours later, while the kids were sleeping and like we were on holiday, I was just playing. I'm like, I got to finish it. So I did finish it. I waited until 2024 to finish it. Now I started Street Fighter 6. I'm at level 26, just opened Japan, having a blast. Like, that game is so much fun, the World Tour.
You know what's really funny is I booted it up only to see one thing. I have a lot of fighting games and I have a lot of time to play them, but sometimes it's kind of just fun to see what it can do.
Fighting games in the world: Tekken, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat.
Killer Instinct?
No, they haven't made enough good titles, Crow.
The most recent one is really good.
I haven't played it.
Really good.
Is it on Steam?
Yes, it's on Steam.
Well then, off the
and you should be able to get it dirt cheap. But one of the things I look for, and JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All Stars Battle R, I was actually showing my niece that yesterday. But it's easier to show somebody a game, like if you don't know how to play it, by booting up a versus mode and seeing if you could get the computer to fight the computer. So I do that sometimes. I just boot up a game, have the computer fight the computer while I'm doing something else. So that's running in the background. But some games don't have that option. And I was actually booting up Mortal Kombat 1 to see if it had that option. And before it even took me to any sort of menu, it starts playing this very long cutscene. And I was like, no, I don't have time for this. So I just turned it off. And I haven't booted it since.
So Ian's got more time for Evercade games. Absolutely. Say you and Crow should get together and try to sort that out. I've been playing my Super Pocket, to be honest with you. I dropped the video today. I never got as much hate as I thought it was on Evercade, Crow. I dropped it today, the one I was telling you guys about that I was going to drop.
Yeah.
And no one's giving me hate. No one's giving me hate on that one.
Well, it's kind of surprising. Sometimes you do something and your audience acts a completely different way than
and most of the people were like, actually, Pete, I kind of agree with you. Like this, and then I started because I've really been playing Football Champ a lot, and I now so much so, Crow. I like it so much.
Which collection? What's in Football Champ? Which Football Champ? You have to explain. Is that
Football Champ soccer game on Taito?
Oh, that's right. I forgot all about that one. I haven't actually played that one.
But, dude, I played it enough, and this is a big deal for me. I actually went out and researched the game after I played it for a couple hours. I'm like, this game is so fun. How come I I know I played it before, and it was called Hat Trick Hero in North America.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Isn't
And
it
then
a
I'm like,
soccer
I
game?
did play this before.
Isn't it a soccer game? I thought
It
hat
is.
tricks
It's
were.
soccer. It's called Hat Trick
I,
Hero.
I thought hat tricks were only in hockey. I didn't know
I
you could
know
have it in
it's
soccer.
misleading. I know, but dude, it's so fun. And I found out too that every 3, 7, and 11 fouls where you elbow someone or kick them in the nuts, that's when you
Yeah.
get a red card. So now I've got it timed out.
Oh.
So it's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna give away the first batch before we get back in the chat. I'm gonna give away hopefully first batch of January free memberships.
Okay.
Membership gifting. Gift 5 now. So hopefully, my fingers crossed that Ian gets one. It all goes to people who watch my channel. Last time I did this, a hater got it. So.
Well, it's funny. It was I was thinking about. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. I just started gifting.
Oh, there you go. Well, I was thinking about doing some sort of live stream again, just so I could give out memberships, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do that.
I don't recommend any of these people, but they all watch my channel. Hold on. So Martin Meyer got one. Stephen Walsh, One Up got one. Michael GC. I'll do another 5 next week.
Because I was thinking,
right,
I need to do something like every so often to remind people that I have memberships.
Like go Crows. I'm a member of Crows. I'm one of his original 4.
You were the top. You were the 4th.
I was the 4th. Wow, nice. Yes.
So
I'm doing so much more. Like 2024, one of my goals is to do as much as I can for my channel members. I dropped another video today. I've got one in pre-release with the members. I dropped one today where I went game shopping in Victoria during the holidays, and I did a walkthrough of the store. So like my goal is to double up on my members videos, because I feel they're so much fun for me, because I kind of get to be non-Steam Deck, or you know what I mean, because I'm really Steam Deck focused on my channel and Evercade, that I kind of do other stuff.
The thing is, like, I don't want to put out a video that not everybody can see, so I'm okay with like making it exclusive for members, but like for a day or so.
Yeah.
Before turning it loose to everybody else.
I do that for the bulk of mine, but some of them are kind of raw and just me talking about gaming and I'm doing crazy stuff. Those I just want for my members.
I did do the member-only post where I posted those codes, the same game that you got the code for, apparently.
Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you. I got a code, this pinball. I was going to play the game today, but I ran out of time, so I'll probably play it tomorrow night and do a video on it. But I'm excited. I kind of looked at some of the tables. They look fun.
Well, I got the code for the original version of that game some time ago, and I made a video on that. So that's why he contacted me again about it.
Phantom's here. Hey, Phantom!
You have to tell me, Phantom, because you did respond to my comment, but I don't know if you actually took a code or not.
Look at that. Herb just became a channel member on your channel. Look at Herb. That's awesome.
So
on your channel, Crow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait, he did?
Yeah, he just said I just became a channel member, Crow.
Wait a minute. How come I'm not seeing the chat right? Hey, maybe I'm not.
Ian, that game was awesome. Awesome, man. Thanks, Herbs. Yeah, I actually had fun making
I do see it now. I must have missed it. But yeah, if you became, thanks for becoming a channel member. But I don't know if you happened to be on Steam or not, but I just let loose a whole bunch of codes through a community post. If you want to, you might.
Yeah, I didn't need one. So
yeah, well,
if you got 5 channel members, you should have 5 codes available.
Well, with Herb, I should have 7. So there's might be 2, well, 1 now that might miss out. But I wasn't expecting like everybody to take one, so that's why I left a note in there that says, "So if there's still codes after a week, I'll just post it for everybody to take whatever's left over." Who knows? Maybe people are taking the codes and not telling me, and I'll just post codes that are all used already. And I
made sure to post in your thing to say that, like, I don't need one.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I just don't know what codes people are taking or not, so I might just have to repost all the codes anyway if they're not used or not.
I'm looking forward to doing that video because it looks like I'm all for trying different types of pinball games outside of Zen Pinball, like the FX series. So, Phantom, there's a question going on. What is your gaming resolution for 2024? So if you're still here, make sure you let us know in the comments below.
There's a game out there that lets you build a pinball machine. It's like a pinball builder simulator game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think it's in early access still, but it's purchasable.
Yeah, the pinball game we're talking about, that Crow giving away a code, I got a free code from them, and it's in early access or kind of pre-release until February 8th. But they sent a code with no strings attached. They went and said,
yeah,
hey, do a video if you can. We just want you to enjoy it. Just
well, here's the thing.
If you want more codes, ask. But if you want to do a video, just mention the name of the game. But that's all they said. So
the name of the game is Slot Shots Pinball Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
It's not available yet. It's in early access, but you can't actually purchase it in early access. By using the code, you get this early access beta kind of access to it.
Yeah. So I've downloaded on my Steam Deck. I'm going to do it. Of course, is it playable on Steam Deck? Because it's unknown right now on Steam Deck. So I'm going to give that a try. All right. So his gaming resolution. I need to mix it up. Okay, Phantom, you need to let us help you with this. What is your... because you're a member... Are you a member of Crow's channel? Probably, right?
Fan of Fiction, yes.
Of course he is.
He beat you out.
And Phantom, you need to send me a link to your book thing so I can share it on the channel. Just send me the link. Phantom, what is your game genre and what do you need to mix up? So let us help you with that, because I actually did that with puzzle games for a little while, JRPGs, mixed it up. You know, what do you need? What do you play and what do you want to play?
Well, the thing is, like, we don't know what he has.
Exactly. If he let us know what he's playing or what he's used to playing, it's pretty easy. And Crow plays a lot more different genres than I do. I think you do.
I might. There's only two genres I really don't like, and I try to avoid. But
what's your two genres?
I don't like real-time strategy games, and I don't like tower defense games. But there have been times where I've been playing games that are those genres. I do like them. They're just genres I typically don't, because I don't like games like Command and Conquer, for example. So yeah, I don't.
I grew up playing Command and Conquer, Age of Empires, those games. I really like them. They're big. I'm a big fan. Now, do I play them a lot in the last 10, 15 years? Probably not so much. I played.
Let me tell you about, like, the one time I played Command and Conquer, I somehow accidentally sold all my buildings. So I just had people running out. And the only reason I lasted as long as I could in the game is because I took all my people and spread them out all throughout the map. And I hid them in trees and stuff. And nobody could find my people.
Yeah, so.
And then there was StarCraft.
When you said that, how does one hide all of their...
Well, you split them all up. You have an individual hide each individual behind trees.
Yeah. Age of Empires is amazing. Age of Empires is, like, amazing. But yes, I totally get it, right? Like, I'm not into simulator style games. Not my jam.
Okay, here's a tricky thing though. What about games like code? What about games that say they're simulators but they're not really simulators?
Okay, like Goat Simulator?
Like Goat Simulator.
Because that's not a simulator. That's just a stupid goat just with weird physics, ragdoll physics doing stuff.
What about like Flight Simulator? You don't like Flight Simulator? I mean,
I don't think I've ever played it enough to dislike it, because my like when I finally gonna play a plane game, it's like Ace Combat is the game I have the most nostalgia for.
Okay, and that's more action.
But I played Afterburner, but I gotta be honest with you, I played a crap ton of Ace Combat on the PlayStation 1.
You know, it's funny. One of the earliest flight simulator games I used to play was Chuck Yeager's Flight Combat Trainer, and it was on the Commodore 64.
On DOS.
I played on Commodore 64. What I used to do is take the experimental plane, fly it out into space, and then nosedive it into Earth as fast as I can, and see how late I could pull it out of the nosedive.
Do you like Civilization, the big one for me? I played a crap ton of Civ 4. It's a kind of RTS light. It's a weird game. I don't know what you call it.
I've never played it.
So Phantom, no wonder you You need to mix it up because that's a heavy game to be a fan of, and that's a heavy game. It's not as heavy as like Solaris or something like that, but Civilization.
Would you consider? Here's the thing: would you consider like Roller Coaster Tycoon to be a real-time strategy game?
No, I call it more simulation because you are simulating building a theme park.
Because I really like Roller Coaster Simulator.
Roller Coaster Tycoon, you mean?
Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon. That's what I mean.
Yeah, by Atari. Yeah, that I think like those theme parks.
Well, actually, when you say by Atari, I don't say by Atari. I say by Microprose because that's who originally published it.
Yeah, but Atari owns it all now, right?
Maybe, but they're not responsible for any of the good ones.
They make a lot of money with that license. Like apparently, like you look at since Atari's Atari, and they always show because they're public, they show their revenue and stuff. They make a lot of money. I'm playing Civ 4 as I watch you guys. That's why he didn't answer my question about what games he wants to play. He's playing a heavy game. I mean, you got to pay attention with Civ 4.
And I remember being very disappointed by Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 because because nobody can die in that game. Like people used to die in Roller Coaster Tycoon, like roller coaster crashes, and 4 people died. Yeah, well, but what was funny was I tried to kill people so hard, and then when you can combine zoo elements, and I let all the zoo animals loose in the park, and like the tigers and stuff would try to eat the people and throw them aside, but they'd never die.
Right. Wait, why are there animals in your Roller Coaster Tycoon?
Because they expanded it to be more of a theme park thing.
Oh,
so they
more like a zoo, petting zoo.
Yeah, it always was a theme park simulator. Even you could make a theme park without a roller coaster if you really wanted to. But
I think last time I played that was on a computer maybe 10, 15, 20 years ago.
I played it like about 3 years ago, and it's still played. I still got addicted to it.
Yeah, well, those are like, I wouldn't call those RTSs at all.
Okay, cool.
Really not like, it's like you got turn-based strategy, you got real-time strategy, and then you got the kind of in-between one.
See, I like turn-based strategy. That's why I didn't like Final Fantasy after they got rid of the turn-based strategy so much.
Went more action combat?
Yeah, I prefer turn-based.
Yeah, well, I get that. I'm more action combat. Oh, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis. You mean for the Xbox, right? I have it on the Xbox. I love that game. And the new ones are built right off of that model. Have you ever played that, Jurassic Park Operation Genesis?
I'm not familiar with it at all.
Let me get a video for it.
It's not on the Genesis, is it?
No. My beloved Xbox.
Is that confusing?
I believe
the game's called Operation Genesis and it's not on the Genesis.
Yeah, it is awesome.
What kind of game is that?
Here, I'm going to show it to you.
Oh, here's something. I could always look it up on Steam too, I guess.
I'm sharing my screen. Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. Okay, so let's see this.
This is a guy, some random video guy. I saw it there. So, are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah. So it's just like it looks like a theme park builder from your.
So this is it right here.
So you're building your own Jurassic Park.
You're building your theme park, yeah, and you're placing your animals, and you get to do hybrid, like combine them together. It is so much fun, dude. And they run amok and they start eating your customers.
Do they always run amok, or can be so good that they don't?
Well, if you have a good, like I played the latest ones that came out the last couple of years. There's 2 out that are amazing, but they're based on this. But yes, you have containment teams and stuff like that. But they'll eat, like if a T-Rex goes through, he'll start eating people and destroying stuff and running amok, just like the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's for me exactly. I like the whole building roller coaster aspect and
Well,
theme
this
rides
one
and
here is you got your island. You can look at it, man. Like you can build everything you do in Roller Coaster Tycoon. You got to build your highways or your roads, your monorail, stuff like that. You see those roads? Like you build those things, right? When you connect them, you got to build your concession shops and your popularity. You got to make sure you got enough food and drink, and
I
it's
don't know.
pretty much
You know
Roller
what?
Coaster Tycoon.
To me, it was nothing like it was in Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you'd build a roller coaster that was so awesome and yet so intense that you'd watch everybody come off of that roller coaster, throw up, and then go right back on it.
Yeah, I think this one is all about the dinosaurs and containment, because they'll like look for weak spots in the fences and stuff.
Like, if you
It's
do
pretty
enough
crazy.
proper maintenance and stuff, that'll never happen, right?
Yeah, I know, but it's like, trust me, there's only so much you can do because you got resources too, right? And you got to spend your resources.
Yeah.
So if you spend them not in the greatest spot, or you build a hybrid dinosaur that kind of is not quite what you wanted, like it's kind of
So
can really.
what's the ultimate goal of the game then? To make money, or is it
I
to
never
see
finished it.
how
My park
long
already
to
got
see to see
always. I
how
had to
long you could
abandon the
last
park
before the
already.
dinosaurs break free? Or
Well, I always had to abandon the park. Like I always literally had to abandon the park
is it a
because,
game where you always play until you have to abandon the park?
well, for me, it's like I never survived long enough. You know what I mean? Like it's just it's one of the best Xbox games ever put out. That like, and for my because I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. B, I love these games, and C, it's on my favorite disc-based console of all time.
It's just a bit of a non sequitur. You know that I saw Jurassic Park at a drive-in movie theater?
Oh yeah, that's pretty
And
weird,
did you
actually.
know it was a did you know I saw it as part of a double feature, okay? So it
Yeah,
was Jurassic Park, and can you guess what the other movie was?
Back to the Future.
No, it came out the same time, and it's somewhat related to Jurassic Park.
Okay, Jurassic Park came out, and it came at that same time, and is somewhat related.
Yeah, and it makes sense for it to be a double feature, but they're two totally different types of movies.
God, I have no idea.
I'll tell you. I saw Jurassic Park with a double feature with the Flintstones movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That actually makes sense. When did the Flintstones take place? In what period?
Oh, I don't know what period it. I mean,
Because
they're
they're
prehistoric.
dinosaurs.
Yeah,
It's got to be the Cretaceous.
prehistoric times. So they had Dino, their pet dinosaur. Yeah.
Which makes no sense because the humankind and dinosaurs were separated by millions of years.
Well, yeah. It's
Apparently. If you believe science.
well, according to science, a lot of these dinosaurs had feathers now too. So
Yeah, well, because that's what Jurassic Park made popular, right? Raptors had feathers. They were more
well,
in common
no, it
with
was
birds.
something they discovered after Jurassic Park came out. I think they kind of determined, hey, these dinosaurs probably had feathers.
No, it's remember in Jurassic Park, he says that um, he says that dinosaurs have more in common with birds than they did with reptiles. Dr. Grant.
Yes. Yeah, okay, they may have said that, but I think scientists after Jurassic Park came out had determined that, a lot of these dinosaurs, they probably had feathers.
Yeah, and a lot of them probably had fur too, right? Like had like a little bit of
I
fur
mean,
on
it's
them.
possible. I mean, how would you know that? If you dug up
Yeah.
dinosaurs' bones and you reconstructed these dinosaurs, you're not thinking about whether or not they had feathers or hair because it's gone.
Well, it's all based on flawed science from like 200 years ago where they assumed they were lizards. They just made that assumption.
Yes.
They said, oh,
Yeah.
they're lizards, reptiles. So everything we know of dinosaurs is based on a couple archaeologists in England got together and said, well, merry old chap, I think it should be reptiles, blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, every visual of that stuff we have is now lizards and reptiles, which is stupid because how would you know? How do you even know
Well,
they're cold-blooded?
because when they picked up the bones, they were like, oh, this is pretty cold.
Oh, I know, right? Like all these hypotheses and assumptions is based on flawed knowledge. Like there's no way they can tell you outside of the skeletal structure what the skin or internals of those animals were.
Well, how did they even know, like, which bone went with what animal? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like when you think about it, there's more wrong with everything they've ever said about dinosaurs than there is right, in my opinion.
You know what's funny?
Because there's no way to possibly prove it.
What you know what's funny is I could bring this whole conversation back to Evercade.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go back to Evercade. All right, wait.
Do you remember
Evercade? Evercade.
Do you remember Nightshade? One in the first Pico collection, Nightshade.
Yeah, I played like all of 5 minutes of it. I thought it was.
Did you know there's a part in that game where you have to reassemble dinosaur bones?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's a boring
that game is so weird. That
thing.
game is more of a point and click adventure than it is an action game.
Oh, what's
it's
this?
a weird hybrid of the two.
Ian saying Jurassic Park and the Flintstones appeared on my Mad magazine covers. Back in, wait a minute, Ian had a Mad magazine? I still don't get why everybody loved Mad Libs so much. I'm like,
Well, Mad Libs is not Mad Magazine. Mad Libs is just ad libs, but they put an M at the end, and so it has nothing to do with Mad Magazine.
I thought they were in Mad Magazine.
No, Mad Libs are completely different. They came in these books, these flip books, and and one person you'd go around and you'd say, "Oh, give me an adjective, give me a noun," and then you put it in and you'd read it, and it'd be a funny story.
Oh, I had no idea. I always assumed they were in Mad Magazine.
No. Mad Magazine is just
sense,
Mad.
Right? Mad Libs, Mad Magazine.
I guess if you think about it that way, but having known about the difference between the two for so long, it's hard for me. I guess if you didn't really know anything about either, yeah, maybe. But no, Mad Libs were a completely separate thing.
They did mix up bones and created wrong dinosaurs by mistake. Didn't realize their mistake when a complete skeleton was discovered.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's probably lots about dinosaurs that we don't know about.
Hey, pretty soon I put something on my wish list that's pretty cool. It's a little tiny spy camera, and a total tangent here, but it's gonna just clip on my thing, and I'm gonna add it as a camera here, and hopefully be able to do some cool stuff. I'm trying to figure it out, but I'm having camera issues.
Here's what we think: we won't know the exact truth about the history until we take one of your spy cameras and send it back in time, and somehow can get a live feed from it.
I'd be down with that. I'd be down with time travel. Well, okay, time travel. Where would you go if you could do time travel? Oh, hold on. That's got to be a question for chat. I got to end this question. All right, where would you go if you had access to a time machine?
Well, we're all time travelers.
Well, obviously, we have memory of the past.
We're moving through time 1 second at a time.
I know, but
we have no control over it. That's the fourth dimension. So as soon as we can harness the fourth dimension, then we can travel through time.
What is the fourth dimension?
Time.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
All right. If you could go anywhere back in time, where would you go?
I wouldn't. Well, I don't know.
Just
the thing
for
is, like,
pleasure,
okay,
not to make yourself rich like Phantom.
If you could go back in time, if you could go back in time, where would you wind up? Exactly where you're standing at that moment, or could you go any place at any time?
Anywhere you want back in time for pleasure, just for fun. And you could go back in time a million times or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just normal technology. Where would you go?
Normal technology, yeah, with time machine.
It's like Time Cop.
Would you be able to come back in time?
Yeah.
Going back to the present?
Yeah. Just the most interesting thing that you'd want to do.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay. I'll even make it a little bit more focused as a gamer.
Well, that's how I'm trying to focus in on it.
Okay.
Like what kind of
just for one, I'd like to go back. I'd like to go back and see what it was like to be at Atari in 1975 or 76.
Yeah,
just to see that experience and just see them how they came up with the games and all that kind of stuff.
And they were probably lax enough where you could get in there and pretend to work there without anybody actually knowing.
And I could go back with my limited computer programming knowledge and probably build a game.
It might be, I don't know, that's That's like different things. Those people that were producing those Atari games back then, they were engineers. There
Yeah.
was no such thing as knowing, programming back then, especially with the 2600. They had to know exactly what was going on and when, and the signals to send through the machine to produce the results on screen.
Right.
So it's not like not like a simple programming language that you would do these days. It was all written in assembly for the most part. Well, assembly, assuming it was assembly, but assembly
Basic.
like, yeah. No, this is before BASIC. There was no. There was a BASIC cartridge for the Atari 2600. The BASIC cartridge had to be programmed in assembler, and even that BASIC didn't have a lot of the functionality that most BASIC had at the time on regular computers.
All right. So Ian would go buy little Samson and Ninja Cop for the NVGBA.
But again, that's for profit.
Talk George Lucas out of not selling Star Wars to Disney. Oh my gosh, I think I'd want to do that too. Crow, did you think of one yet?
Oh, I stopped thinking of one. I go back in time about an hour to think about this question a little bit more.
Okay, well, I can't help you with that. But it's an interesting thing. Like, there's tons of stuff I'd like to see from a gaming perspective. Like, I'd be interested to know what was going through. I wouldn't be. I need a translator at Sony when they decided that they were going to go into the video game market.
Oh well, that's easy enough to figure out why that happened.
I know with Nintendo and stuff, but someone at an executive had to say, "Hey, we're going to take on Nintendo, and we're probably going to win."
Well, no, they didn't. I don't know if they thought they were going to win or not, but they had the technology they were making for the Super Nintendo. They didn't want it to go to waste, so they just changed the focus of that project. And a couple of years later, you have the PlayStation.
Yeah. Oh, we got an Evercade question. Would Blaze release 2 new Super Pockets this year? I think they're going to release 4.
I'd go with 2.
I think 4. I think they're legit going to go with 4.
I think if they're going to do 4, here's why I think 2. I think 2
at the first 6 months and 2 at Christmas.
Do you think, okay, with these 4, do you think that they're going to release a Super Pocket, containing games that we already have on cartridge? Are they going to come out with like a Data East one with the games that we already have on a cartridge?
No, I think they're going to grab new licenses. That is not
so
on the
you think they're going to be able to find 4 new licenses?
Yeah.
For 4 new Super Pockets, and these licenses are going to be as such to where they can release handhelds, but they can't release cartridges that can be played
physical
on
media. And I think it's going to be intentional because they're going to want to say, hey, these are compelling IPs, compelling games, and B, anybody who owns Evercade is going to want to have those games because they're a fan of Evercade, they're a fan of those games. They're going to want it. I think. It's my thought.
I think I just figured out the Hyper Megatech thing. I think they had to come up with the new brand Hyper Megatech because they wanted to come up with something that was different, that wasn't associated with the Evercade itself. So they could say, okay, yeah, we're coming out with these handheld pockets. They are not going to be cartridges that will be on the Evercade. That's Blaze. We're Hyper Megatech. But then also, getting around that by also having that Evercade slot. So maybe if like Taito if they wanted to make a Taito cartridge, that would have to be through Blaze. But since it was through Hyper Megatech, it was easier for them to get a contract to do a handheld because they don't have.
And I think that's what it was.
What it is
collection. I think we might get a Super Pocket Taito 2, like a Taito Collection 2 Super Pocket. Man, that's a mouthful.
Super Pocket Taito 2.
Super Pocket Taito 2. But I honestly think they're going to do 2 in the first 6 months and 2. It all depends, though, if they do another Evercade piece of hardware, which I think they're going to do. I still maintain they're going to do another piece of that.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, I think that if they don't have anything announced by the end of February, then any Super Pockets that are going to come out, they're going to come out at the end of the year.
Yeah, and then I'll say, yeah, it's going to be 2. I agree. Like, if they've got to announce in end of this month, because they want to have a 3-4 month read up to a June release or a May release, right?
I would think that they would have to put it out before Easter. and so maybe even earlier than that then, because Easter's at the end of March this year.
But they always got the November, December timeframe for the other Super Pucks. They did that this year.
Yeah,
So they got
exactly.
a lot of room in between.
But do you think they'll put out 4 at one time?
I'm thinking that's their goal. But to your point, if they don't get an announcement out in February, they'd be hard pressed to get 4 out.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And
Unless they're planning on doing all 4 at one time.
Phantom is 100% right. I think the Super Pocket's their only outlet for certain publishers.
Yes. But then it was funny is like we're always going to be left wondering though. It's like, oh, is it possible for this to be on the Evercade then?
Yeah, well, I think they're past. I say this loosely, caring. They're going to say, hey, if we can get Sega, we don't care. Like, if we can get Sega and it only is on the Super Pocket, that's fine. We'll deal with the blowback from Evercade folks. That's fine because they're already doing it with the Tato. Like they said, like,
yes,
that's okay.
But on another note, I have to wonder what's the big deal. Like, what is Namco's problem with if it's a device that's handheld or if it's a device that plugs into the television? I don't see the big deal.
I don't know. I have no idea. It's man. Sometimes when you get into corporations, there's stupid decisions being made all the time, right?
There's got to be some logic beund that, and I just
they probably wanted too much of the royalty because it was physical, perhaps, and it didn't make sense for Blaze.
Well, I don't know. It's just sometimes I gotta wonder, like, oh, we're okay with you making a handheld, but not if it plugs into a TV.
But Namco's handheld plugs into a TV.
Yeah, it does, but what's the difference between the device that has a screen that plugs into a TV between a device that doesn't have a screen and plugs into a TV?
Maybe you got a license with another company, and like with Sony or with Nintendo that we don't know about, or another company, something.
But okay, that might be just a case with Namco, but would that also be the case with Capcom and Taito?
Yeah, Taito seems a bit weird to me because Taito has a physical collection through Limited Run, right? They did a Taito. Super Taito collection.
Yeah, actually, they have that collection going through a bunch of publishers that are limited.
Yeah.
So,
because Taito has got physical with Limited Run, and maybe that's the reason they didn't want to. Limited Run, got their mafia muscle going and said, "You better not let any other console release it." I could see that. I could see.
Oh,
and Limited Run's owned by what? Embracer Group now?
Are they?
They got bought out. Who owns Limited Run? Limited Run's main company is by.
I thought they were self-owned.
No, they got bought.
Is it
Pretty sure they did.
Isn't Embracer Group starting to become sort of a monopoly at this point?
Yeah. Headquarters, October, video games. Embracer. Yeah. Embracer Free Mode. Bottom in 2022.
Embracer Group has like Zen Studios now too.
Yeah. What? They bought our beloved pinball manufacturer?
Oh, yeah. Like last year.
Oh, well. As long as they let them produce more games. That can tells me now why the tables are so expensive. Embracer owns them. But yeah, Embracer owns. Wow, man, what a shit show Embracer is.
But Embracer, every time I boot up one of my favorite games, Wreckfest, I have to see Embracer Group at the title screen.
Yeah, they own like 200 companies, right? 200.
Yeah, they own like everything.
Let me check who Embracer Group is. Like Embracer Free Mode is the name of the company.
I think they're based in Limited. Yeah, Nordic. Yeah. Nordic.
Man, they're worth 38 billion krone CRs. What the hell's a CR as a currency?
I think they're based in Sweden.
Kroners?
Yeah, something like that. I might be wrong, but it's somewhere in Scandinavia.
They own a lot of companies.
Yes. And it seems like they're buying more and more every day. Like they're like the Disney of video games.
Oh, where's the Tetris movie? I haven't seen the Tetris movie. I'd love to see that. Should send it Ed. Ed, watch this.
Is the Tetris movie a documentary of sorts, or is it I
think so?
The story of
I just don't know what streaming channel it's on.
Or is it the story of the S piece and how nobody likes him?
Yeah. So, like, that's what I mean. Like, limited run games were hated before by me and a lot of other people.
Well, they were hated right from the start because they would, because of the way they would start out with, like, oh, they're going to only have, 2,000 of these games available. and then not everybody would be able to get through to purchase it.
And they weren't. What really made me mad is when I found out they didn't have the product in hand, yet took your money.
Oh, well, that's how they changed it. They changed it so, okay, to make sure everybody gets anything, we're going to take our orders before we make it.
But dude,
So
even
then-
before, I used to take forever to get my games from them.
Yeah, it did take a while sometimes too, but that
But
was
what is it? They just delisted a game so that it can sell more physical games. What is it?
do you think they did that?
They delisted a digital game so they can sell more of their physical games. they
Which
just
game
did
was that? For
Oh my
which
gosh,
game?
someone in the chat help me out. So Limited Run Games was publishing a digital game, Scott Pilgrim, or something, and they delisted it to sell more of their physical.
That's not why it got delisted.
Why did it get delisted?
It was some. I don't know exactly the reason, but I find it hard to believe that was because of, especially since it's back on digital platforms.
No, it wasn't Scott Pilgrim. It was one of their own games. They delisted
Oh, it had to be under breach.
Yeah, something. They delisted it digitally.
That's their only game, I think.
Yeah, something. There's some scandal that they did, and I just hate them. And then their whole thing with Wata Games and all that kind of scam. Oh, dude, they're scum.
Wait a minute, what did they do with Wata Games?
I don't know. They did a lot of stuff. There's documentaries.
Are they involved with Wata Games? I don't.
I've talked about it so much.
Wata Games, I don't like. Anybody that completely seals up a game so nobody can ever open it again.
I understand it with sports cards. It makes sense. You're protecting the cardboard in the sports card. But
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense for a video game.
Yeah, like I see people selling those all the time at conventions now. It's like, this is completely worthless to me because I can't even open it.
Yeah, exactly. I like to try to open all my games and play all my games. I guess what I buy video games for.
Yeah.
It's on Apple TV, so cool. I have Apple TV.
Okay, what's it called? It's a because I don't. It's called just Tetris documentary.
Just going back to me, HMT prediction last time. An HMT on console, plug and play that accepts cards. That's the Evercade, Ian. Right? Wouldn't that be the Evercade? I don't know.
With Wi-Fi that helped the Pocket. The Pockets don't have Wi-Fi.
No, he said maybe something that has Wi-Fi. Yeah, because I think he's trolling us. Because it sounds like the BS.
Well, apparently the Atari 2600 Plus has a update out there, and there's a whole big, long, complicated way to update it since it doesn't have Wi-Fi. But it's a beta.
Oh, I get what he's saying. A cheap plug-and-play console that has no screen for Hyper Mega.
Oh,
it plugs in. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, but then they
have the Double Dragon one. I've got a Double Dragon one and the WrestleMania one plug-and-play device. They're both awful.
Oh, you know what's funny is I've been going through MAME and stuff, and I've been finding out that MAME has plug-and-play devices in it now.
Oh my God.
I don't know how recent that is, but all these SpongeBob plug-and-play devices and and it's just funny that those are in there.
Well, the thing with you talked about the Atari Plus, so I've got that, but if I'm gonna play my Atari games on hardware, I'm gonna play it on my Gemini, my actual Gemini I grew up with.
Yes,
because otherwise I got my Game Station Plus that I can play any ROM at any time, and the Atari 2600 Plus is basically ROMs, so there's no difference.
Yeah, I would much rather prefer to play on the real hardware because not only do the paddles work better, but you plug in the cartridge and you turn it on, and you're right in the game. I don't know why that delay bothers me so much in the Atari 2600 Plus when you turn it on and you have to wait for it to boot because it's ripping the cartridge.
I love my Gemini. The Gemini, you put it in, and it's got a stick on it, 2 side buttons, and a paddle built into the controller. It's amazing. So
but
I don't need it. So I just
when you got the Atari 2600 Plus, did you get the paddles?
No.
You should get the paddles. They're so good. They're really
maybe
good.
I'll get it just for maybe I will get the paddles.
Although
I'll look at a retro store, next retro store I go to, see if they have them available.
Yeah, I mean, even though it comes with a cartridge and 4 games, you probably already have. I think it's still worth it for those paddles.
Is it a 9-pin?
Yeah, it's a 9-pin.
So they'll work with my old consoles.
Yes, actually, it's funny is was making my video, I tried it out on the Atari 2600 Plus. I was like, this doesn't work quite right. And then I used the original paddles on the 2600 Plus. I'm like, these are acting exactly the same way. So I took the new paddles and I played it on the Atari 2600, and it was like perfect, no jitter or anything. I was like, this is amazing. These are like having brand new paddles.
Well, because you're playing on real hardware with a real cart, and you're playing emulation on 2600
and
Plus.
It's
there's
still
something wrong
like,
there.
It still somewhat bothers me the more I think about it. Like, why did they go the emulation route?
There was no need for them to emulate. The chipset for the 2600, they could have just put it on FPGA or whatever.
Yeah, FPGA, or even just recreate it using components like Coleco did.
Yeah, it literally is. Yeah,
and then you'd be able to turn it on, and it would start right away. You wouldn't.
And everybody's fallen in love with it, but I'm like, it came out the exact same time as my arcade's Atari 2600 Plus, and it does the exact same thing, except this one takes your real carts, the other one takes as many ROMs as you want, but you're literally playing the same version of the game.
Yes,
which is
and that's why I'm like, I like it because it's cool. It's like a little mini. It looks like a real 2600. That's the reason I liked it.
Yeah.
If for anything, just for that.
My GameStation Plus is fine.
But for playing games, I'd rather play it on the original hardware or emulate it. Why not just emulate it on a PC or something? Because you're going to be able to play. I could plug in paddles on my PC and play it that way. I got the adapter. And all the controllers work. Like, no other controllers for the Atari 2600 works with the Atari 2600 Plus yet. Yeah. Like, the keyboard controllers, they don't work. They say the games are working, but just because you boot the game doesn't mean you play them, because you can't use the controller the game was meant to use.
Yeah, I just find it all very confusing. Atari's hit all the right notes for the last 2 years, except this one feels just weird that they would release those two products, and I feel there was no need for them to go. And I have nothing against emulation. I've just
I don't either. It's just
without it.
They say it's a plus, but it feels like an inferior product. Other than the fact that you can plug it into a modern TV and it looks great.
Yeah. All right, time to wrap up because I'm getting hungry for supper. Crow, what's going on your channel this week, bud?
I was playing Radical Bikers and 40 Winks earlier today, so I've got videos on that. I didn't make it too far in 40 Winks, but Radical Bikers was pretty fun, despite it not being a finished game. That was something I realized when I was doing research for it. That game was never released originally, so it was never actually finished. But it's for a totally not unfinished game. It is one of the better games in that collection. But yeah, that's mainly what I'll be working for. I have to figure out if I want to do streaming again, or because what I originally was tending to doing is maybe a members only question and answer. Like, I'd ask a post, like, or take questions and stuff from members only and make a video for it, but that video would be available for everybody to see. That would be like the reminder, like, hey, there's memberships on this channel, that kind of thing. But
yeah, I'm going to steal that idea.
Go ahead. But I might do it as a live video. I was thinking about maybe doing it as a live video instead. That way, I could give away memberships then.
Yeah, I would think we should do that, because I think giving away memberships is just a fun thing to do. Like,
so I'm trying to work my way to doing that again. So it might be a live thing. It's something I want to do once a month. That's the only thing I've determined for sure. Is whatever it is, it's once a month.
That's a good cadence, though.
Yeah, and it'd be at the end of the month, like the last Sunday of the month or something.
I'm doing a monthly for mine. My first one's this Friday. I'm going to try to figure out my camera issues, and I'm going to be doing Paul and Megan. I'm just going to be chilling with the members and installing games and talking about them. That's the goal.
You know, it's really funny that since we brought up the Tetris documentary thing, I downloaded the whole movie already.
Sweet. Pirate
2 gigs. 2 gigs. It went down in like a minute.
Is that like Pirates?
Yes, it's like that, but not quite, because we're live.
You need to set up a Google Drive and share that stuff. All right, we're gonna call it. I'm gonna go eat some food and with the family. Crow, we'll talk to you again next.
Well, here on next week, but on Saturday on Evercast.
What's that?
We'll talk to you again on Saturday for the Evercast, but then again next Sunday for this.
Yes, excellent. Chat, you've been great. This has been a fun show. Bye, everybody. Hey, you got to do your exit, Crow.
I do. What exit's that?
I don't know. Don't you? I think your buttons are all messed up. Bye, everyone.